Intended audience is 13 and up. How's it going, guys? Welcome back for another video. Today we are taking a look at UnicornSting. This recently came out. There's been a lot of hype around this because it's kind of similar to Death Scyther in terms of aesthetic. It comes with UnicornSting 560 and GearPoint. We've got UnicornSting. Now, a lot of people are hyped for this because it looks kind of similar to Death Scyther. We'll get into the performance in a little bit. I don't know that that's necessarily accurate. It is like sort of asymmetrical in terms of the blades. You've got this smooth side and sort of this jagged side. One thing that's kind of notable is these ratchet points right here have changed. So if you take a look at any of the previous releases, you'll see that these ratchet points are sort of this rectangle shape. They go all the way down. And then on Unicorn, they taper off here. I guess this was due to breakage. So I don't know if all of releases moving forward are going to be shaped like this, but it is worth mentioning. I haven't noticed that it affects burst resistance, but I guess for whatever reason, the tips of this would end up being, I guess, more prone to stress or breakage. So that is our first mold revision from what I understand. So I would expect all future releases to adopt this. I guess we'll see. So other parts, you've got 560, always a good part to have. And then you've got GearPoint, which GearPoint is kind of interesting to talk about because there is some mold variation, it seems. So there's a couple different versions of this that you can get. So I'll put up a picture here. Basically the difference being that the point either sticks out more or less. Mine seems to be the version that sticks out more. I know it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but just comparing between other people's points and some that I've seen on Twitter, it seems like mine is the more extended version. Easy way to tell, aside from looking at it, is just to hard flat launch it, and if it's super aggressive, it's probably the shorter version. If it's stationary, it's the longer version. Which one's better? The shorter version is going to act more like gear flat. The taller version is going to act more like a traditional, like the standard point bit. I have been getting some really interesting results from the longer version, which is the version that I have. So I can't really speak to the shorter version because I only bought one of these, but it is something worth mentioning. So if somebody's like, oh, you know, this combo works really good on point, probably need to figure out what point they're using, because people's results are definitely going to vary based on which version of the mold for point that they got. With all that being said, let's go ahead and throw it into the stadium and sort of give my thoughts on it performance-wise, stock, and the blade as well. All right, so first up, we're just gonna do a flat launch so you guys can see sort of how the GearPoint works stationary for the longer version. Let's try to get it a little flatter. There we go. I do really like the GearPoint bit. I think it probably has the best LAD of any of the tips. And I've compared it to most of them at this point. Gear ball, needle, high needle. And what I mean by LAD is just an acronym for life after death. It's how much it spins towards the end of the battle. So sort of optimizing the amount of rotations it can get once it sort of finishes off its last couple rotation cycles. I think GearPoint just has good end game stamina. So it is kind of an aggressive tip though, so keep that in mind. But I think it's pretty interesting for counterattack builds and sort of low aggro, high stamina stuff. So you could put this on. You could put this on a lot of things. You could put it on Phoenix. You could put it on Shark. You could put it on Dronsor. You could pretty much put it on any of the sort of aggro, and I think it would do pretty well. Even some of the lower tier stuff, I think, benefits from GearPoint. The blade is okay. I don't think it's great. I know a lot of Japanese users are using this right now, but I'm not saying it's bad. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's great. I think the GearPoint tip kind of carries the stock combo. You can kind of hard launch GearPoint and it does some pretty interesting things. However, if you switch Unicorn to ball, and we'll just do Hellscythe on 360 ball versus Unicorn on 560 ball, I don't think its stamina is that great. It's kind of off balanced. So stamina versus stamina, I think it's okay. I don't think it's great. Doesn't do bad. I don't think it's the best thing ever. I do think it has some potential against like attack setups. So let's go ahead and throw it against Shark Edge. We'll put it on Rush, and we'll see how it does. Let's go ahead and try it against Phoenix on 960 point. It's not as off balanced as I was expecting it to be. It's honestly not too bad in terms of stamina. I just don't know that it beats out stamina versus stamina. So against things like Hellscythe or Chain or even Wyvern, I think it struggles a little bit. I think it does a little better against attack. So more as like a defense option. I think it does all right. It is decently heavy. Comes in at 33.55 versus something like Hellscythe, which is 32.56, so about a gram heavier. So yeah, overall, I do think it's worth picking up. I think it's pretty interesting. I'm interested to see other people's testing videos for this. I haven't tested it on a ton of stuff. I've tested it for attack. I've tested it for sort of defense and stamina. It does okay for attack, but against things like Phoenix or Shark or Drawn Sword, I don't know that it's going to compete at the same level. I think most usage is probably going to see it as a defense build, but because its matchups, I feel like, aren't quite as good against like Hellscythe or Chain or even Wyvern, I don't know that I would personally run it over those. However, I do think that the GearPoint bit is pretty interesting. I think that a lot of people will probably run this. I think we'll see this on Phoenix, and I think we'll see this on various other attack setups as well, just because it's high stamina, high aggro, and it's just, yeah, it's a really good bit. I actually kind of want a couple more of these. I think it's really interesting. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on UnicornSting, whether or not you're going to pick it up. What you think of it so far, if you guys already have it and have been messing around with it. I'm interested to know what combos you guys have been running it on and what you think it does well against. So drop a like for the algorithm, hit up the comments, subscribe if you haven't already. A lot of you guys are not subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.